Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to day 73 of commercial diving school. Today we are doing salvage operations, so I'm going to tell you all about that. But first, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and leave any comments or questions for me down below. So like I said, today we're doing salvage operations. Like in my previous video, I was talking about how we split up into 3 teams. Each team will have 1 day to try to get their boat to the surface using a series of barrels or lift bags. And then when you get it up to the surface, it's going to be obviously full of water, and then you're going to use a small pump, a water pump, to pump the rest of the water out so that it's floating up on surface. So today was one of the teams. So the first team went, and we now know who's going to go each day. My team is going to get to go tomorrow, so definitely stay tuned for tomorrow's video if you want to hear how my team was able to raise the boat up, or if we do, or how it goes and everything. So, and then the last team is going to go on Friday. So for today, we basically set up the dive station. We also got all the equipment that we're gonna need. So we got all the barrels, the lift bags, the shackles, we got line, we got the pump ready to go. And right off the bat, I can tell you that the boat did not get raised up. This team worked extremely hard to get the boat up, but I guess there was some issues with communication at first. And so what they did first was they jumped in and they immediately started securing barrels to the boat, and they started filling them up. And then I think they got it to where it was off bottom, and then there was a lot of current ripping too. So, you know, when you're down there, you have to fight against the current that's trying to blow. You know, once you get it off bottom, that's great, but it's starting to drift, and the only thing holding it in place is the lines that are attached to both sides. So you got a line attached to the pier and a line attached to the dive station, and that's kind of keeping it in the same spot. Also, what I noticed about the boat is it was tilted. So and what I mean by that is it was just basically like, if you imagine a boat, you know, it was tilted over to the side. So that makes it harder because one side is basically buried in the mud. And this mud that's around the boat is very, very light mud. And what I mean by that is if you've ever stepped in mud or like snow and your foot like sinks down like a good 2 or 3 feet, that's what I'm talking about. So and then that doesn't help with visibility either, because as soon as that mud gets brushed just a little bit, all, you know, the visibility that you had is just now gone. It's just blacked out because you got this, you know, brushed up super light mud just blocking out any light. So there's all these factors going into it, and but each team has to come up with their plan, and they have to dive their plan. And that's one of the biggest things in diving that you'll always hear is plan your dive, dive your plan. That's just what divers say, not just in the commercial diving world, but that I know for a fact they say that for scuba diving as well, because you also plan your dive for recreational diving or whatever kind of diving you're doing. But so yeah, you have to dive your plan. So whatever plan you came up with, you're gonna, you know, go in the water with that mindset. But one piece of advice I was gonna give was that like for us, when we already did a survey on the boat, so we already kind of know our way around it, what it looks like, where the anchor points are, where we're going to attach our lift bags and all that kind of stuff. And that's good, but it's been a while since we've dove on that boat, because, you know, it's been, I think we dove on our sophomore module. Since then, the seniors that were previous to us, they have done the boat operations. And somebody even said, like, at first we thought the boat was upside down. Like, we were like, what? The seniors, you know, they screwed us over and stuff like that. But I think they were mistaken and it was really just tilted to the side. And I don't know if that's because of the way the cement that's hardened in the boat is like sits in the boat, or the way it's situated, or something like that that makes it, you know, turn to the side like that. But it just kind of makes it that much harder. But basically they were able to get the boat off bottom, and I actually got to dive in the afternoon, because for today, now each group or team gets to decide when each divers are diving. Like, for example, today's team they decided that 2 of their divers were going to dive in the morning, and they're going to go till lunch, and then another 2 divers are going to go after lunch. And then you also have 2 sets of swimmers with those divers. The swimmers are in their fins with their mask and their wetsuit, and they're basically handing anything down to the divers. So they can either, you know, hand it off on surface, or they can, like, you know, take a barrel and then like push it down, you know, and then the diver will see it and pull it down. So that's the swimmer's job, basically handing tools off and doing anything they can do until the boat gets, you know, pushed up topside. Then they can start helping once the boat's up there, because they're on the surface. So there's those 2 swimmers, and that's one example. But for our group for tomorrow, what we're gonna do is we're gonna have 2 divers dive first, and then we're gonna split the morning up to where 2 more divers get to dive. So a total of 4 divers get to dive in the morning, and 4 more divers are gonna dive after lunch. And I know that 2 divers are going tomorrow morning. I'm going to be a swimmer alongside another swimmer, and once those divers are done with their portion of the morning, we're going to swap out because we're already in our wetsuits as the swimmers. So that's our plan for how we're going to you know, swap our divers out and everything. And then our plan is to just basically get the boat off bottom first. Once we can get the boat off the bottom, we can at least start attaching more lift bags to it to get it as light as possible to the surface. And then obviously the last phase is to pump the water out once the lip, like the top rim of the boat, is over the water line. So that's basically our plan for tomorrow. I'm super excited. This day sounds awesome. Like, we're gonna get to dive. We're also gonna get to swim. Like, this is the first time we're actually gonna be doing something like as a swimmer. So it's gonna be really fun. But anyways, where I was going with that is we're gonna do that for our group tomorrow. But the same time a group is, or a team is doing their salvage operation, there's going to be another group that's going to be in the water just kind of on the side. And really, we're trying to collect as much bottom time as we can. You know, might as well get, you know, only 2 divers are in the water, but we need, you know, 1840, so 1,840 minutes by the end of next week, because the end of next week is the end of our senior mod and we're going on to Ocala. So we need 1,840 minutes by the end of next week before we can move on. So a lot of us are sitting at about 1,400, 1,500, 1,600. Some guys are right around, you know, 1,800. So they're good. Because we'll still do like the diving bell next week, so you get a little bit of diving time. But because we have a couple guys that still need about 5 hours or 6 hours, we had more divers in the water at the same time we had those guys doing their salvage. So I got to be one of those divers that got to collect a little bit of bottom time, but I wasn't just sitting there. I actually went over to the boat and kind of feeled around it while the other guys were like kind of at the end and they're almost done with their job, and they're cleaning up. They're basically like cutting off the barrels because they're getting like preparing it for the next group tomorrow. So I actually got to see the boat and check it out and everything like that. And so I got to dive today, so that was pretty cool. But that was pretty much it. Just one team got to go diving today and do their salvage operation, and our team gets to go tomorrow, so definitely stay tuned for that. But that's pretty much all I have for this video, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and leave any comments or questions for me down below. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great one. See you in the next one. Peace.